So why do you believe it is important for the 2019 audience to know and really understand this story? You can start with you, Josh.
I think it's important for I think it's important for the generation of people who were either not alive or not old enough to be aware yet to know the specifics of this story and what was done to these young men, the journey that they had to go through to reclaim their innocence by the end of this 14-year, well, actually it took more like 20 years to get fully exonerated, but to go through this journey. And I think Ava's done a masterful job of bringing you inside of what the repercussions are, not just for them, but for their families, for their social network, for their community. So I think that in and of itself, just as a story, is important. I think it's also incredibly important for us to look at this and say, what do I think is different today? Do I think that this could happen today? Do I think that this is happening today? Do I believe that we have made enough progress that this is a historical document? Or is this important because this is a conversation that we are in right now, whether we like it or not, and we have to be having this discussion if we're going to progress at all? And, you know, in my name as an American citizen, I've just seen 5 children die at the American border. I'm a citizen of this country. I don't get to exempt myself from that responsibility. In my name as an American citizen, even though I was a child, 5 children were wrongfully accused and had their innocence robbed from them in this story. And I just don't feel like we have made enough progress. And I think one of the reasons we haven't made enough progress is because people like me are uncomfortable in this conversation. Truthfully, I mean, people who look like me are uncomfortable in this conversation, and I think it is extremely necessary. Like, when you finish watching this, it is hard. It feels bad. You feel a lot of different things, right? Regardless of your color, you're gonna feel a lot of different things.
Oh, yeah.
And so, go feel those feelings, and then let that spur you to some action. Like, we need to be active now.
Right. Blair, was there anything in particular that drew you to the role of these young boys' attorney in this film?
Yeah, the fact that I was the only one that was offered. Yeah, well, listen, Ava is a dear friend from many years ago. Anything she does, I don't even care what it is. Tell me what time when we start shooting. Number one. Number two, in the broad strokes, I would say this story is important to be told now because everything old is new again. More specifically, these men, who are now men, their story specifically needs to be told. I think, you know, we were talking earlier just about, we understand, we know, a lot of us know, not all of us actually, we know the headlines. We know the basic story, what happened, but who they were, what that journey was like. The fact that 4 of them were 14 and 15 years old and spent 6 to 7 years in prison. The other one, Corey, was 16 years old and did hard time at Rikers Island starting at 17 years old and spent 14 years in prison. What that does to a mind, what that does to a psyche, what that does to a family, what it does to a community, the specificity of their story needs to be told. And the fact that they are now no longer the Central Park 5, they consider themselves the exonerated 5, as it should be told. People need to know that that's part of the story, not the end of the story. That's part of the story.